Okay, so welcome everybody. So I'm so honored and privileged to be here and sharing with you all. So today definitely we'll touch on the trends globally, what's happening in the world in this COVID-19 situations. So how can we also as an individual or organizations, invest in ourselves to stay relevant. Yeah, so I'm just gonna share about this, but mostly LinkedIn data, but definitely happy to talk or answer any of your questions. So I've been a little bit more about me, right? So I'm actually born in Indonesia, in Jakarta. So masih orang Indonesia, right? Pasportnya juga masih Indonesia, but I moved to Singapore when I was 12 years old, right? So I was away total years about 24 years, 24 years abroad. So when I graduated in 2006, I moved to Singapore 2007 again. So I was studying in Australia for 5 years for my uni. Then through 2007 till now, so I've been working in Singapore, right? So most of my time, my experience, I work in recruitment or HR industry for about 6 to 7 years before I joined LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is actually my sixth job already, and I've been in LinkedIn for 5.5 years, right? So in LinkedIn, there's this saying: if you are more than 3 years in LinkedIn, you are the dinosaur. What do you call it? You become the dinosaur in the company because you've been there longer than the normal, right? So definitely feeling grateful that I'm actually working at LinkedIn right now, and really happy to help my clients from hiring, recruiting till developing of their employees using LinkedIn solutions. Okay, so let me start by sharing with you the agenda. So today's for the next 15 to 30 minutes. I'm going to share about insight and trends, and then we can also dig deeper the actionable insight that you can definitely implement after the session, right? So of course, we will be open to Q&A section later on after the presentations. Okay, now I'm going to share with you about insight and trends. So as you already know, we are actually in the unprecedented time whereby every single moment of our lives become uncertain, right? So definitely we've been working from home. Some of you say we've been working from home since March, and as LinkedIn as a company has been practicing working from home since early February. So definitely it's changing the way that we work and also commit to our performance and our bosses and so on and so forth, right? And to be honest, like right now, some of you who are Muslims are experiencing changes in terms of you doing breakfasting, and maybe in the few weeks that you have Lebaran, right? So that's gonna be change as well. So this is actually where the biggest crisis since World War II, right? So it is a brave new world. We are bracing through this pandemic really, really well. Right. So right now, there's a lot of companies that are doing phases, right? The way how to be relevant in this period of time, right? So we see from talking to our customers, also talking to by reading a lot of research platform, we see the objective of the first wave is actually during the pandemics, a lot of companies are focusing on their people, right? Just to make sure that they're safe, just to make sure that this secured workplace. A lot of companies implementing working from home, and to make sure that people and their employees at home are fully supported, right? So I was actually involved in the HR community in Indonesia, so it's called Future HR. So the first week when Pak Jokowi announced the first case, which is early March, right? All HR professionals in Indonesia was like thinking on how and what to do to make sure that the employees are feeling safe and protected, right? So that is the first few weeks, I guess, when the pandemic started. And then right now, most of the people or most of the companies are focusing on the wave 2, which is some of the companies are developing tactical responses to the current challenges. Be it like, okay, how to make sure not to lay off any of the employees, right? What is the cost and revenue that they need to overlook again, and to discuss with their shareholder and also leadership to make sure that they can go through this period of time, right? And if we see from the global view, right, most of the global companies already in wave 3. Right, so global companies, obviously, if you take a look at China, who's already been the first hit country, and also Spain and Italy and all part of the Europe, they actually already designed a strategy to make sure that they can go through the post-COVID. Yeah, so they already plan out how can they be more agile, right? Especially after the pandemic stop, they definitely needs to hire, right? So they're thinking about their hiring strategy, their digital transformation strategy, and so on and so forth, or what type of technology that they should invest during this period to make sure that they can sprint after the pandemic ends, right? Because at the end of the day, the pandemic will end, guys. Yeah, it will end. But that's why a lot of, as a leaders, you need to be prepared for that. Okay, and there is also why a lot of people, companies, leaders, they're already embracing the new normal. Right? We're not going to be living the same thing as last year or yesterday, right? Our future is gonna be exciting, and it's gonna be changing, because a lot of you gonna experiencing a lot of new skills, new environment, and new things to interact with people, right? If you're a salesperson, or if you're a marketing person, or you're a finance or HR, every one of us will have a different experience, right? So we are in this together. We're in it together. And that is like, I cannot be more excited than this. Yeah, so if you actually read, or maybe you receive from internet, Instagram, or WhatsApp, so they will have these questions like, who drive the digital transformations in your company? Some of the multiple choice was the CIO or CEO, or the third one will be COVID-19. Right, so every single industry right now is going through the digital transformations because of COVID-19. Of course, this one for the past 5 years, every company is doing it. Yeah, maybe like 80% of the company in the world is doing digital transformation. That it's been 5 years, and it's definitely slowing. It's not like accelerating, but they're just taking their time. Right now, currently we're in this COVID-19 pandemic situations. Like everything is accelerated 100 times more. Right? People definitely implementing working from home stations, right? Since I don't know if it's in Singapore, they will. The government was saying that, okay, we're gonna implement circuit breaker, which is similar as PSBB, right? Within the announcement is just like 2 days before, so companies have 2 days, to implement their remote working plan and strategy to make sure that their employees are gonna be taken care of and being productive, right? So within for years versus days, that's insane. Right. So also, I will share more right now. I will share more what's trending, right, on LinkedIn as the platform. So basically, LinkedIn as a platform is a real-time data platform whereby people around the world are able to create digital profile of themselves, and they're able to add their skills that required for them to apply or to work in a certain job description. Definitely also to enable companies or individual to be productive and successful, so they can actually create economic opportunity for every one of us, right? So again, the members data right now is increasing rapidly due to COVID-19 as well. So in Indonesia, we see around almost 1 million new member every month. Yeah, almost. That's really, really high. Definitely because a lot of people right now are at home and they are trying to get the right opportunity or the right insights. Right, so we collected about 600 data points every second. So these data points is actually data to fuel our economic graph, right? So our economic graph goal is to make a digital representations of people, company, skills, and jobs and schools, so they can see the trends. Right, so if we have like people updating their profile as we speak now, and we see like different skills are being input into the data, we can actually make a decision whether this data is actually an emerging skills or declining skills. So use this we use these insights to help policymakers or government to implement new policy in terms of what type of skills that need to be teach to their universities and so on and so forth. Right. So again, the data shows that members are coming into LinkedIn more and more. So it's 40% increase in reading news. Yeah, and 55% increase year over year in terms of conversations among connections on LinkedIn. Right, they're more because they're more active in terms of like getting insights from their friends and so on and so forth, and definitely increase in content creation. So we see this as a trend as well. And in terms of engagement, we've seen about 1,000% more engagement growth, right, from January till May. So this is the latest data, right? In terms of what type of content that they're posting, it's all related to COVID-19 or coronavirus. But obviously we see in March that a lot of people also trying to share about their experience in remote working, because this is like really new for everybody. So as a LinkedIn as a platform, they use it to share knowledge, to help each other, right? And also to search about content that they can learn, right, about remote working. So we see increase in LinkedIn learning searches in terms of remote working. So if you take a look at the data here, companies in the IT and financial sectors are most actively discussing the coronavirus, right? Definitely they would like to share more, because they may be able to help the companies, other companies, obviously in IT, how to actually implement their remote work. Yeah, so all of these informations indicated that every single companies have a voice. Yeah, should have a voice, right? So since like everybody is on the platform are looking for insights, looking for learning and knowledge. So as a brand, as a company, you need to be more visible. You need to be more out there. You know, they will want to know what's going on in your company. So this is a good time, basically, for you to share more insights, so you can build trust in the community, be it trust with your customer, or be it trust your partners, or even your potential candidates. Okay, and in terms of hiring side, of course, we see like different countries have different moment, yeah, in terms of hiring. So LinkedIn hiring rate is defined when the candidate actually change jobs on the platform, right, on their profile. So when they add new jobs, that means it's we get the data from the moment they change job into LinkedIn hiring rate data. Yeah, so from this data, as an economist or as a company organizations, we'll be able to predict, right? See, when you see China is actually increasing, in this like very light blue is China, right, along April. So this is also we see in Vietnam. So currently Vietnam has 0 cases, and then we see a lot of like activities, hiring activities rises this week. So it's actually since last week we see that these trends in Vietnam. So as an individual or as a organizations, you need to be prepared to make sure that you can communicate about your business to relevant people in the industry. Yeah. So another insight. So this is what we do on the platform. So we send out in survey questions, right? So this survey actually in March. Yeah, we ran the survey in March. And then we asked about their well-being and also what's their feelings about working from home. So we seen that in March, 43 people is actually already working remotely, right? And they believe that this is somehow very likely to be a permanent shift, right? So definitely needs to make sure that working remotely is gonna stay. Yeah, as a company or organization, so we need to be more agile in terms of accepting this. However, there's only 36% of respondents say they're more productive when working from home, right? So only 36%. What happened to the 64%, right? Some people, obviously, is this a new thing for them? They may not be able to juggle between personal and professional time. Yeah, and at home, especially when you have kids, right? For all those young parents out there, I feel you, because there's so many times that definitely you can't focus on work because you need to take care of your kids, right? This happens with my colleague who is have 2 kids now, right? So 2 years and 4 years old, and she's really, really struggling, to get like at least 1 hour a day for work for the first week. Yeah, it's so hard for her, but over the time, she manages, her time. So definitely, it's adoption period, right? People are trying to adopt the new normal, but definitely with like help from colleagues or co-workers, and also like bosses and the company, how to support their working moms and dads, it will be able to to go through to increase this productivity, definitely. Okay, so that currently, of course, during the survey as well, we are actually asking them how are you impacted by this. Definitely, if you take a look at the travel at the industry below, like travel, events, meetings, is actually are actually being impacted. Of course, like people cannot travel anymore. And then events, you cannot go to the events and meeting and so on and so forth. But a lot of like companies are doing virtual events, right? Virtual webinars or meeting, like we all did, right? Like we are doing it right now. Okay, so what can brands do then, right? So it's like a lot of people impacted, definitely. It's going to be the new normal. So we actually asked them, what can we do for you, or organizations can do for you to make you productive? So the result says that they would like to have transparency, right? 58% say communications is essential. So providing regular communications is key. And then create a team meetings, more team video meetings, yeah, and one-on-one. So what we do in LinkedIn, especially my team, so we have about 2 team meetings a week, yeah, and then 2 one-on-one with my boss. Right. So the 2 team meetings, normally one is a fun meeting. So that means you can do KTV together, or just sharing about your personal life. So that's one meeting. So and then the second one, obviously, the sales meeting and so on and so forth, right? So it's kind of like balance it out, and because of this meetings that's going on, I found out that we are more close together comparing to before when in an office. Yeah, so I think we bonded during this this period. Yeah, so what it means for organizations, right? Especially the HR professional out there, right? There's gonna be reinventing of all the process and whatever that you have right now, right? So you need to take a look at what type of like skills in terms of recruitment, what type of skills that are needed, right, in the company and in the role. So the previous skills may not be working anymore, or they could be altered, right? So needs to know the market insights as well of what is required for each skills. So as a recruiter, you need to be able more think outside the box and how to reach out to this particular talent pool. Okay, and definitely reinventing the way you learn, right? So maybe previously some of companies are only do in-person learning, right? So it's not going to happen anymore, because you can do blended learning now, right? It's because it's so it will take a lot of your time to do to go into a one-day workshop, right? So one day is already like what, 12 hours of your time, right? So how organization or HR can actually maximize, using online and blended to offline to maximize the impact that the employees can get, right? So definitely understanding what is the relevant courses is really critical. Yeah, because for every functions and level in the company, they may have different level of skills. So you cannot put like one course for everybody. And of course, right now, engagement is key, right? So normally companies will have like yearly survey engagement, or sometimes once every 2 years, right? So that's not gonna happen anymore, or that's not gonna impactful anymore, because for currently we are living in the in the different situations whereby every day can change. Yeah, so Singapore government always keep updating about the new regulations every day. So it's the same thing as the company, right? So we may have different initiations every day. So how can we make sure that our employees are engaged, are happy, are safe, and are being feel that they're being taken care of? Yeah. So what we do at LinkedIn, we do monthly survey, right? So we call it pulses because it's so quick, it's so regular. Apart from my one-on-one weekly with my manager, so we do have monthly pulse survey as well. And then definitely my boss will go through the results and then asking me questions like, how are you, how's the family, what else can we, what else can I do for you, something like this. Is all of the informations that can make sure that I'm actually being heard, right? So in terms of the another insights that we receive through the survey is we have 3 that we are releasing, so that we're seeing, right? So number 1, employees are turning into online learning to adapt stay productive in the new normal. So based on the trends on LinkedIn in terms of people logging in to LinkedIn Learning to upskill themselves, and also the questions that we ask our members. So this is the key insights that we highlight, we receive, right? And then number 2, learners are actually looking variety of content as upskilling. They want to know what type of skills that they can get on variety. So it's not only just for leadership, but they want to know about how about communication skills, how about negotiating skills, how about being resilient, right? So there's a lot of content that they're actually taking at one go. Right? Not only just one topic. And we also see our clients moving online and moving in-person training into online course, right? So they actually record the in-person training and then they upload it in the LinkedIn Learning platform for the employees to see. Okay, so in terms of the trends as well, we see intake of 118% month over month spent in LinkedIn Learning, right? This is the global data. For Indonesia, data is actually 16%, but this is in March, right? We see that this is before the PSBB, because PSBB is, I think, 16th of April, right? So definitely one way that we can see the trends that a lot of people are actually investing in themselves, right? So, and also we can see managers are the highest, because definitely they are the one that trying to learn how to manage their working remote working teams, right? Especially for a new manager, it can be very daunting, very scary, right? They may be seen as micromanaging because they keep on asking their team every day, right? So that's not good. So definitely very, very important for new managers to understand how to manage their remote teams. Okay, so this is global trends, right? So time management is number 1, definitely. Remote work foundations to make sure that, all the teams are able to do work remotely. And number 3 is very interesting, 6 morning habits of high performance, right? So we initially in the beginning of the session, we're talking about having routines, right, every day, so you don't get bored. So this is one way that you can actually take a look at what are the 6 morning habits that you can actually implement, right? So obviously, most of it is a mixture of soft skills and hard skills, right? So once you know how to work in time and in remote work, you can actually focus yourself on more into the productivity courses, right? Like building customer loyalty, resilience, right? E-commerce fundamental, right? Learning Java, so they're more into productivity phase. Now, so in Indonesia, right? So of course, this is the month of May data, right? So of course, same thing, time management, remote work foundation, and very interesting is mindfulness practice, right? Because everybody is in the stressful environment right now, in stressful period, and it's really helpful to understand how we can actually be mindful and manage our stress better, right? Definitely learning Zoom, number 17, is increased by so much because a lot of people are doing their webinars and their meetings on using Zoom. So this is how we know that what are the people in Indonesia are learning. Okay, so that is all with the trends. So definitely we'll be deeper if you have any questions. But now I want to move on to how we can actually keep and staying relevant in this during period of time through LinkedIn as a platform. Yeah, so as a brand, we need to make sure that we're taking care of people, we're taking care of our customer, we're taking care of the leadership, and so on and so forth. So LinkedIn helps companies to, number 1, manage employees through change. So number 2, lead with trust. And number 3, adapt to drive business continuity, right? So how you can do number 1 is to share more on LinkedIn platform about your culture, your productivity, about how you actually keeping your employees safe, right? So this is the perfect time for you to show and share about your activities. And then number 2 is leading with trust, right? To make sure that your future customer and future talent are trusting you as a brand, as a company, right? So you can share about your program, how to support your customers, right? Be very transparent about what's going on in your company. So being authentic, is really critical to gain the trust, right? And then number 3 is to adapt business, adapt to drive business continuity. Yeah. So definitely how you can continue your business or sustain your business through this period, and what is lie ahead for your business is very critical also, because from that informations, you will be able to set the good foundations. Yeah, when the pandemic stops, you will be able to gain that momentum, your followers and also your engaged talent pool. Okay, so if you have this challenge, right, as a business, you want to engage audience without looking optimistic, especially in this period of time. Of course, everybody is trying to survive, but at the same time, you need some cash flow into the company, right? Otherwise, how to survive? So in how you can actually craft your messages is very critical during this time, because you don't want to look very opportunistic. Yeah, opportunistic meaning like too salesy, too aggressive, right? So definitely engage with hashtags, the right hashtag, and then share more, right? So what you can do is similar like Traveloka and Gojek. You can actually share timely updates like daily updates, and then share about what you're currently doing in this period of time during COVID-19 to engage your employees, to engage your customer, and so on and so forth. So I've seen this on the right hand, and then on the left, right hand corner at the bottom, you can actually see the topic that is high engagement topic, right? So making sure that you have this posts, yeah, so your content is maybe organically engaged, okay? And of course, share and engage your any content on LinkedIn that is clearly explaining about your business, your passion, and so on and so forth. Yeah, you can share this content later on, then you can study them, and then you can start sharing. Okay, so second challenge is if your consumer or customer don't know who to trust in this time of crisis, right? Of course, your potential customer is currently in the same boat, is kind of like how thinking about how to survive, right? So they want to know what other people are doing. They want to get insight, knowledge, and action, like what you're currently doing right now, attending this webinar, right? So if you could share some perspective so they can be, whenever they read your content, they can be assured, right? So one way is to do a video. Yeah, so a lot of companies are doing leadership video about what's happening in their company. And also you can also do writing. If you're not really comfortable in video, you can do long form posts. So it's a blog on LinkedIn, right? So you share more about your learning and your experience, be authentic as possible. This may help you to get engagement and trust, of course, right? So I don't know whether you know this, there is LinkedIn Events app, feature, right? So you can actually create a LinkedIn event online, or any events that you want to talk with your customers, or maybe just to engage your network, right? So there's so much LinkedIn virtual events that you can find on the platform as well, that you can join to gain more insight. Okay, so the last but not least, this is a free LinkedIn courses that you can access everywhere, anytime, right? So you actually do not need a LinkedIn profile to access this. So if you have friends or family or colleagues that you think that can benefit from learning these courses, do share it with them. We have job seeker courses, how to remain productive in this remote working, and also how to manage stress and build mindfulness practice. Of course, educators transition to teaching online, right? So if you're actually a lecturer or a facilitator who wants to create videos online, you can actually go to that number 4. And then for HR professionals on how to adapt during this business challenge, also can learn from it. Definitely sales professionals right now is the most stressful period for all of us, right? Definitely you can't be too optimistic, but at the same time you need that sales, right? So definitely good courses to take a look. And the number 7 is obviously for you as a business owner, small business, to how to navigate through this pandemic. Okay, so that's all for now. So I'm happy to just have a Q&A with all of you.